Hey everyone, thank you very much for joining us. It's Sean Costello with Vintage Wings. I'm here with a fantastic piece of Canadian culture. We have the demo pilot for the Canada 150 CF-18, a member of the Royal Canadian Air Force, and this CF member has been selected from many other pilots to represent Canada, both afar and in our nation. So we're here with Glib. How are you?
Thanks for having me, and good to talk to you today.
Sir, thank you very much.
Sure.
Now, if you'll recall from previous webcasts, we've had some quick interviews with Glib. Our most recent one was in Comox, British Columbia, before the demonstration season. So, sir, since then, you've been down to Louisiana, you've been up to Whitehorse, you've been out to Bagotville and Saskatoon in the west. What have you seen in your travels?
That's it. That's as a fighter pilot within the Canadian Air Force, we're accustomed to traveling quite a bit with the job, training and operations as well. The demo team this year, 2017, we've taken that idea of travel to the next level, and in many ways, that's been one of the highlights. That's been one of the best parts of this job so far. Traveling, we say coast to coast to coast up to the Arctic. And in many ways, we've seen that already. You said it, Louisiana. We trained out on the west coast, Vancouver Island. We're going to be heading to the Atlantic coast shortly. We've already been up to the Canadian North. The best part about that travel, not being the travel itself, but being the people we meet along the way. So we knew that this was going to be a big year, Canada 150. Our team, myself, had a ton of enthusiasm for the project and for the celebration that we're sharing. But we get on the road now, we're meeting people. We're meeting people in Whitehorse, Saskatoon, we were in Barrie yesterday, all across this country, and we're seeing Canadians that have that equal level of enthusiasm for our country and our country's 150th birthday. So that gives us a lot of energy, and that makes it really special. That's
amazing. Now, speaking of energy, where are you right now?
Right now, we're in the National Capital Region. So I'm standing on the ramp at the Gatineau Airport, and we're here for the big one. July 1st is coming up, and that's why we're here.
That's on Saturday. What does it mean that you're going to be part of what is to be an epic parade of both former and current Air Force hardware?
Yeah, I'm at a loss for words as we try to describe the feeling going into this. In many ways, our celebration, the Canada 150 jet, and the program we're sharing with Canadians, in many ways this is a pinnacle for us. July 1st, our country's birthday, here in Ottawa, sharing it with Canadians, it's going to be huge. And it's the connection that we're really feeling. So we're here with the Snowbirds, but most aircraft from the Royal Canadian Air Force current inventory, the fleet, are going to be here as well in this massive parade overhead of Parliament Hill on July 1st. Now that connection extends even further because we have warbirds from World War II. We have replicas from World War I that are also joining this parade. So you get this Canadian lineage and this RCAF, this heritage that is so deeply rooted in everything we do. And we're just kind of bringing it together in this huge special production, sharing it with Canadians on the afternoon of July 1st.
That is fantastic. And those 4 World War II era planes are going to be flying from the Vintage Wings collection. So we have, of course, Michael Potter has been very generous with his efforts and his resources to help make sure that story can continue to be told. So that's the Vintage Wings part of this. Depending on when this segment airs, you'll either have already watched the Vintage Wings warbirds warm up and taxi out, or they're about to come. We'll see. But in the meantime, I'd like to ask Glib just to give us a quick idea. We can see your lovely bird. Does it have a pet name?
It does. That's funny you mentioned that. Just before the pet name, I feel like I got to say something here as you're talking about those warbirds and Vintage Wings. Growing up, I wanted to fly. I had that passion for aviation. I get to fly this plane now. I feel very lucky for that. But you can ask any fighter pilot in Canada, when they hear a warbird fire up, or they see one of those aircraft in the air, representing the Battle of Britain and what happened overseas back during World War II, we get goosebumps and we fall in love with those planes. So it's cool to fly the F-18, but there is an intimate emotional connection with every fighter pilot. We know where our heritage is coming from, and it's that imagery of those birds still flying today, and there's something about that sound too. When you hear those engines fire up, no exaggeration, you get goosebumps. It's emotional.
So we're really looking forward to hearing those as they come across.
We're very lucky to have them for sure.
Outstanding. Okay. Well, it sounds like there's still a little bit of youthful energy. It's not come out now that you've reached this, as you say, pinnacle.
That's right.
It's still in there.
Absolutely. That's it. That's funny. It's funny you bring up the pet name too. Most planes have some pet names that naturally just evolve or develop, nicknames or whatnot. You work with a specific aircraft, you get to know that aircraft very well, and most pilots have some kind of affectionate or not so affectionate term for the machine that they're working with. It almost feels like a friend after a while because you get to know that piece of machinery so closely. This aircraft, 734, right off the the kickoff out in Comox, was getting called the Red Jet. Or the Red Bird for most obvious reasons. It's the only F-18 that looks like this in the world, and we saw that on social media. People would just say, hey, I saw the Red Jet in Montreal today, or heard the Red Jet's heading out west right away. So that kind of stuck. But another affectionate term that I find somewhat endearing and I actually enjoy, a natural evolution on social media with some hashtags and stuff. People are calling it the Lady in Red. And I think it's very fitting. She certainly is a lady, and as you can see, she's in red. So Lady in Red, it fits, and I like that. Jim designed it. The design itself, the Canada 150 Leaf, we see it on the tail. That was actually designed by a lady, a student, a woman named Ariana Kuven. She won a competition for the Canada 150 celebrations, and that's the foundation for this paint job. So we have it on the tails. We have it highlighted in orange on other parts of the aircraft. And what you can kind of see on the spine, just on a very shallow angle there, is this huge Canada 150 jet right on the top. The way it was incorporated into the design this year, in my opinion, is amazing because it actually considers the way the plane flies and the way that we do our performances. So every time we roll, we reset our lift vector, we do a wing flash, you see this Canada 150 Leaf on the top. It's big, it's airbrushed with the shadow behind it, so it just pops out. It looks like it's glowing. In certain cloudy conditions, it actually looks like it's being lit from the front. It's not. It's just the contrast of the paint with that airbrush effect shadow behind it. We fly our routines with blue sky backgrounds, with clouds sometimes the light's low at sunset. It doesn't matter. That Leaf always pops out. Any person who sees that jet knows, hey, this is something special. This is Canada 150, and that's pretty cool.
That is fantastic. For those that are curious, I want to return to the concept between it being a fighter and Lady in Red, but this is a fully functional, ready for full service aircraft. There's been no modifications. We haven't taken part of our fighting force and sidelined it for this effort, correct?
That is correct. That is 100% correct. This aircraft has flown in combat operations in the past, albeit with a gray paint job. But from a hardware perspective, there's absolutely no difference between this aircraft and the Canadian CF-18s that are flying on operations right now. There's the 20mm cannon still in the nose. It's currently de-armed, but all the points on the wings are there. We are capable of putting external fuel tanks, missiles, and bombs on this aircraft today and flying this aircraft into combat. So there's no difference between this airplane and any other fighter aircraft in the Royal Canadian Air Force today.
And that's the readiness our country is grateful that you help us bring forward.
All right.
This has been a fantastic time. Thank you very much. Please have a safe rest of your Canada Day celebrations, wherever you may be. We're going to now have a continuation as we follow the flights over Parliament Hill. And if you're watching this after the fact online, thank you very much for tuning in, and we'll see you and the rest of the team a little later. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you, Sean. Good to talk to you.
Be well.
Thank you.